A generation Cowboys and sports talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am the father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about. All right, welcome everyone. You're looking live at Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ. I tell you what, I'm joined with my co-host, my dad, partner in crime, Cowboy Joe, and we are back with our Saturday Night Live. We're gonna give it a little moment and get the link out and get some viewers. Let me start posting this link. I should have did this before, but it's all right. So we're gonna change up the flow of things a little bit tonight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have actual segments that we're gonna talk about. So we're gonna do segments and we're gonna see how that works. We're gonna try to divvy up a specific time frame for each segment and give y'all our thoughts on that and see how that works out. So let me get the link out. I just sent the link to my uncle. Okay, let me get the link out to Facebook. Let me get the link out to, let me see.
I can't hear you in my headset.
You can't hear me in your headset?
No, it's on my, let me see. It's probably on my phone. Hold on. Probably.
All right. And anyways, while we're looking at that, let's see who we got. Somebody else coming. What's up, B-Bird? So while we already here, let's just what the first segment is going to be about is Dak looks ready to go. Dak looks ready to go. I mean, and players always look ready to go. I mean, they always look ready to go. My dad calls it the underwear Olympics, but hey, he looks ready to go. He looks like he didn't already, rehabbed and came back. And so this is just a little bit of what that looks like. I want to kind of show everyone. This is kind of what that looks like. And everybody's going to be watching Dak because this is Dak year to actually show up. And, it's all on Dak, really. The last few years have been all on Dak. We go as Dak goes. If Dak does good, we typically do good. In those playoff games, if Dak have a good game, we going to win. If he have a bad game, we're going to fail more than 9 times out of 10. That's normally how it be going. And so, Dak is a vet in the game at this point. It's all on him. He's a vet. He's been here 10 years, 10 years. And so it's time for him to show up and show out. I will say that the Cowboys did leave Dak out there hanging last year. You see Jalen Tolbert right there. So that lets you know right there. Jalen Tolbert been practicing with Dak. Jalen Tolbert and Dak are like best friends on the cool. So Tolbert ain't going nowhere. And Tolbert is going to be, I think Tolbert he should be our 4th receiver. If you're on a good team, he should be your 4th receiver. But I really think that Tolbert is going to step up again. And I think that he's going to be our 3rd and borderline 2nd receiver. I think he's going to be like the 3rd on the depth chart. You kind of loud. Turn your volume down a little bit. And I think that Dak is going to be, I think that Tolbert is going to be like the 3rd receiver on the depth chart as far as like talent wise. But I think it's still loud. I think that Dak is going to be, you probably just got to hit the side button and turn your volume down. And then I think that Tolbert is going to be the 3rd receiver on the depth chart as far as talent wise. But I think that stats wise, he's going to be like probably 2nd.
I want to talk about that.
What you want to say about that?
So how does my volume sound now?
You sound you loud, but you good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So a couple of things. I think that Jerry Jones made the comment last offseason that we'll go as far as Dak take us. And I think that that was just kind of one of the things the front office always kind of steps out there and just say stuff that other franchises wouldn't say. So they saw how that went. So what they need to do is they need to concentrate on just building an entire team. I
Mhm.
related to what John Elway had to deal with his last few years. He went to the Super Bowl 3 times. He was 0-3. He had a Hall of Fame career, but he was still looked at as somebody couldn't win a big game. So they brought in Terrell Davis. They brought in Mike Shanahan. Uh, they had Ed McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's dad. They had Shannon Sharp. Uh, really good players on defense. So the Cowboys are gonna win a championship, make it to the Super Bowl or to the NFC Championship game. It's gonna have to be the team's gonna have to be built around that. And I just wanted to say real quick, I think if Jalen Tolbert is our third/second receiver, I just think that we're asking for trouble because that means that you probably didn't draft a receiver. Also means that you didn't sign a Keelan Allen or Amari Cooper. So I mean,
So
I think
let me
yeah.
so let me clarify that. What I meant by that was, so I think that he's going to be, I say, your third or fourth receiver on the depth chart
Hmm.
as far as talent goes. So what I'm saying is like CD would be first, automatic. If they draft a receiver in the first round or the second round, that will be the second receiver, and then Tolbert will be your third receiver or your fourth receiver. But I think that he gonna be the second receiver when it comes to stats. So what
Hmm.
I'm saying is like I think that as far as talent, he's not going to be good as the second and third receiver, but because of what we're looking at right here, the fact that he be with Dak 24/7, and him and Dak chemistry is like it is. As far as stats goes, he's going to be just as good as far as stats goes as the other receivers. He'll have 1,000 yards receiving or close to it, 800 yards. He'll have something like 800 yards receiving. He'll have something like CD will have 8 touchdowns. Tolbert will have 8 touchdowns. But the
Hmm.
other two receivers will be better than Tolbert, but they won't have as many yards as Tolbert. They won't have as many catches as Tolbert. They won't have as many
So let me ask you this: if they sign Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper, you think Tober will have better stats than them?
Mm, yeah. Well, I mean, maybe not Amari Cooper, but yeah, I can see if they sign Keenan Allen, yeah, he'll probably have better stats. He'll probably have more touchdowns. He'll probably
I
have,
mean, yeah, don't
yeah.
don't get me wrong. I mean, I like Tober, but I like Tober just in a role. And look, if Tober breaks through and has that kind of year, that'll be terrific. But what I'm trying to do is build a team where we're not relying on Tober. My concern is that Steven and McClay, they are thinking that Tober can be our number two receiver, and I'm just not myself. I'm not trying to build my team like that. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, like
If
for
we
instance,
if we draft Ted or Ibuka
mhm.
or and Golden, I know you're not that high on Golden, but and I can see what you're saying, them being rookies, but and Tolbert had 8 touchdowns, or was it 7 or 8 touchdowns last year?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I agree kind of what you're saying, and but what do you think about the point I made about them just having to make sure they build a team around that? Because if you got Quentin Junkins as your running back, or Travion Henderson, or your guy that you like, what is it? Johnson, Will, is it Will Johnson? What's the
Mhm.
running back?
The Will Johnson, I mean the running back. Oh, Caleb.
Caleb Johnson.
Mhm.
So that's your running back, and then you can double dip at running back. We're gonna talk about the draft here in a minute, but I just think that recipe right there, they need to get out of the thing where they're just saying that everything is centered around Dak. That's what the Broncos did with Elway, and then once they kind of got out of that mode,
Mhm.
they were able to win and win big. So I think that's what they need to do with Dak.
Well, yeah, I mean that goes without saying. I mean that's the bottom line for every
Hmm.
NFL team. That's what you want to do. You know what I mean? But like as we see, that's just not that's not an accurate depiction of a team. Like for instance, you wouldn't say your team is gonna go as far as Dak take you. That's just Jared talking to sound good. He ain't really
Yeah.
meaning that, because if that was the case, if he meant that literally, then that means that when Dak got hurt last year, we should have just forfeited the rest of the games.
Hmm.
So but I'm also saying that because I don't like when people act like the quarterback is the be all, the it's that's everything. Oh my god, they win all these championships because of their quarterback. And oh, it's Tom Brady. It was Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. No, it wasn't. It was the Chiefs versus the Patriots. It wasn't
Yeah.
Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. It's when we play the Eagles, it's not Dak versus Jalen Hurts. They don't have anything. They're not playing. They're not dueling. So
Yeah.
I hate that because it makes it seem like if your quarterback, it gives the quarterback more. Uh, it gives them more responsibility than they should have. It's just like last year. No one is gonna say that Jalen Hurts. Uh, Jalen Hurts led is the reason that the Eagles won the championship. Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl last year. That's not it.
Mm.
You can say that all you want to, but that's not it. Because if they don't trade for Saquon, they don't win a Super Bowl. So
That's
and all,
probably true. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, and also on top of that, if they didn't draft the way that they drafted, they don't win a Super Bowl. Okay.
Well, yeah.
If they don't do what they do in the offseason with free agency, they don't win a Super Bowl. Regardless of what Jalen Hurts did, you could substitute Jalen Hurts out. They would have
Yeah.
still won a Super Bowl. So
And to your point, if the Cowboys were just smart, they could just look at what the Eagles did and they would use the same blueprint for what we need to do this
right.
offseason and beyond. So hopefully, they kind of see. And I really think myself, the team the Eagles put together, I think we can make a few moves and we could kind of get in the ballpark, especially with the receiving thing, with the running back. They signed some guys defensively that like Bond, the linebacker they signed. That's like a Kenneth Murray type signing. You don't really know how that's going to go.
Right.
And they drafted well. And so we're going to talk about the draft here in a minute, man. I'm convinced that the Cowboys can draft 6 or 7 players that can really just change this team. It's right there. All they got to do is just draft well, and we can really turn this team around and really help Dak.
Okay, and before we go there, we can go to the draft next. And before we go there, let's finish up what we were talking about with Dak. So Dak looking ready to go. Um, what do you think? In our reality, let's just say that the Cowboys draft well, get Dak a receiver, get him a good running back. Do you think that Dak is good enough to take it to get us over the hump and to get us postseason victories? And do you think that Dak is the guy that can get it done for us? Being that this is his 10th year, he's in that mode to where he kind of figured out the game, like Romo did. Kind of, how he's, in my opinion, he is an all pro. So how do you feel about that before we
I,
switch?
I think that if he has the type of season that he had in 23, when he really could have been the MVP, I don't see no reason why he can't go back to that. And the key thing, as I said, this team, if they just, add some more pieces, they could really be a better team overall. So I think he absolutely can do it. What we don't want to have is just that, you go into a game offensively and the opposing defense is just saying, we're going to stop CD and we got them. We're going to, uh, they have no running game. So everything is on Dak. So I think that if Dak can just be a piece of the puzzle and be in that John Elway role and quiet is kept. That's really what Troy did, to be honest. Troy, he was very accurate. He was timely. But Troy didn't go into games and just put up hellacious stats. The kind of stats that are you still there?
Yeah, man.
Okay. The kind of stats that Tony Romo and Dak are putting up, Troy didn't do that. Troy was just real efficient. He made the plays when he had to. Can Dak do that? He absolutely can.
Okay, and I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. So, the Dallas Cowboys remaining free agent targets. Who are you hearing out there that are worth talking about, and who do you think that we need to be bringing in?
So the three names that I'm hearing consistently is Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, and Calais Campbell. Shout out to Mark Holmes. He's been talking about Calais Campbell a lot. Some of our other content creators don't like Calais Campbell as much. So those are the names. I mean, obviously, when we was talking about this earlier today, some of the contracts that uh, receivers are signing are a little misleading. So Cooper Cup and Stephon Diggs, when you really boil it down, they really got 1 year deals. So the contracts are just they're a little tricky. You have to really read the fine print. And so I was kind of getting discouraged when I saw what Cooper Cup and Stephon Diggs signed for. But when I really got the inside or the explanation of what the contracts really boil down to, I really think that Steven, if he's smart, him and uh, the cap guy that they use, his name is escaping me at the moment. I think it's what is it?
Maldonado,
I can't remember his name, but
Maldonado.
n- no, it's
Oh,
Pacifica, Adam
no,
Pacifica.
Adam Pacifica. Yeah.
So if him and Adam Pacifica, so it's really interesting to me that Adam Pacifica is even still there. But what they can do the same contract that New England did with Stephon Diggs, the same one that the Chargers did with Cooper Cup, and they can get Keenan Allen signed, where it ends up being Keenan Allen is making 16, 17 million dollars for 1 year, and the same with Amari Cooper. They could probably get Amari Cooper for less. We still need to find out if Amari Cooper really wants to play. And then Calais Campbell, I'm kind of 50-50. I kind of agree with Mark Holmes. I do understand what some of the other content creators are saying, but those would kind of be your finishing touches. Uh, I'm still hearing some good reports on what people are thinking about Kenneth Murray. Uh, Brados really likes the signing, and some other guys, I think, on Cowboys.com. So, and then I heard an interview that Kenneth Murray did. So, I'm kind of thinking that if you got Kenneth Murray and Leofow or the other guy that they signed, Sanborn,
Mhm.
give Overshawn some time. I kind of think our linebacker room may be kind of getting reshaped before our eyes, like our safety room was reshaped. We got Hooker. He really wasn't like just terrific. He hasn't been, but he's been good enough to kind of get us by. So I'm really liking the way that linebacker room is coming in shape. But yeah, those are the three people. What are you hearing about Amari Cooper? Are you hearing that he wants to play or he doesn't?
I'm hearing that it's kind of up in the air. I'm hearing that it's not that he wants to play, but that it's not that the coaches and that the other players are saying that he needs to hang it up.
Mm, yeah.
So this is Adam Pacifica. Um, he enters his 21st year in the Dallas Cowboys player personnel department. In his role as director of salary cap player contract, Pacifica assists Stephen Jones and vice president of football operations Todd Williams in
Hmm.
managing the club's salary cap, negotiating player contracts, and monitoring league transactions. This guy
Hmm.
right here, 21 years in the Dallas Cowboys player personnel department. Not a lot of people know his name. Not a
Steven's
lot
right
of
hand guy.
Steven's right hand guy.
Mark
Yeah,
Holmes talks about him all the time.
Mark Holmes does talk about him. Now, let me tell y'all something. One thing, 21 years and 30 years to me go synonymous. To
Hmm.
me, he's one of these guys that needs to be changed out.
Reassigned.
Yes, right. Reassigned. I don't see anything, you know, that's mind-boggling. I didn't know that he was 21, been here 21 years and been doing this
Yeah.
21 years.
He started out in the rest. He was a restaurant manager or something.
I was talking to the guys today, and one thing we was talking about is the Cowboys. Just the bottom line on this is they just have not done a good job at salary cap. They just haven't done a good job at it. I mean, that's just it. They have failed in salary cap. When you look at when they've signed players, when you look at, it's not about how much they pay players, because they do pay players. They always reset the market, and you know
They're
that's
gonna
not
pay Micah.
they're gonna pay Micah, but this is not a good thing or a bad thing saying that they pay players, because this is the NFL and every team pays players. The thing is, they do it when you should not do it. They
And
wait.
they sign and they pay the wrong players.
They play the and yeah, they pay the wrong players a lot of times. Prime example, paying Michael Gallup when they should have kept Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
Things like
and
that.
they signed Michael Gallup coming off ACL. When Michael Gallup, a lot of people they'll disagree, but Michael Gallup was never a number one receiver. I don't think he was a number two receiver.
Yeah. Well, he might have been, his first year or so, but it's just like with signing Zeke and not signing Henry. That's a Adam Pacifica problem. That's a
Yeah,
Stephen Jones problem. That falls up under them. You know, and
they signed Jalen Smith.
you know,
When he came in with his knee injury, had a great turnaround. But Jalen Smith should have been a one and done contract player. Of course, you got the Tyrone Crawford deal. Um, you got uh, the way they kept LVE the last couple of years. He didn't make a lot of money, but they were kind of forced to keep LVE because their salary cap was so jacked up. They couldn't afford to pay Bobby Wagner. So, but yeah,
so
this,
the moral of the story is the Cowboys do a bad job at
yeah,
salary cap. They do a bad job at signing players. They don't do that. They don't do that good enough. And then that's what's so. It's just amazing that they've been able to stay this relevant this long and be this close. But when the rubber meets the roads in the playoffs, when you got to win or go home, it is basically a clean slate. It's basically just a straight up shot. You've done it 30 times and you failed all 30 times. There really is no wiggle room in that. They might
yeah.
have made it. They have not won the second game. They got to the second game. They haven't won a second game in 30 years. So, I mean, that's just not, and the reason why is because, in my opinion, is because of the one or two players that you did not sign that was not on your
Hmm.
team to will your team over the hump, i.e.
Well,
Saquon last year for the
yeah,
Eagles.
that's my theory of building a team around Dak. What you got to do to get over the hump, you got to have some other players so that we don't have this during the headlights Dak, where he's just kind of out there with the deer in the headlights looks, because you just got CD, and the other thing also that's happening with Micah too, when we're getting in these playoff games, they're just able to put Micah in a box, double him, whatever the case may be, and we just don't have other players around Micah. Uh, you would have loved to have seen some of those playoff games with an Overshawn, with a Kenneth Murray on the field, you
Mhm.
know, and of course we got to replace Jordan Lewis now. So, but yeah, you
Mhm.
just gotta build a good team so that if Dak is having an off day like Patrick Mahomes, he's won a couple of Super Bowls where honestly he really didn't play that well. He played well at the end, but there's a couple of
Mhm.
Super Bowls where, you know, when they played the 49ers the year before,
Mhm.
they were losing the game. He wasn't playing good, but the
It's
defense, players
it's
around him, they stepped up and made it happen.
right. Just like I got a few things I can say about that. It's just like when we lost to Green Bay. Dak he didn't have the complete deer in the headlights, and the only reason why I say he don't have the complete deer in the headlights is because it's been some games in the playoffs where Dak had deer in the headlights, and that was the reason why we lost. Like when we played the 49ers, the
The first
time,
time.
yeah, like him, the defense played good enough for us to win that game. And then that other game, Tony Pollard had a season-ending injury in the second quarter.
Defense
So
played pretty good in that game too.
also they did, but Dak played good the first half of the game. Literally, the game was over when Tony Pollard got hurt.
Yeah, Dak played that first half of that second game. He played good. The first time we played them, I caught the boombox game with Debo. That was
Mhm.
Dak didn't really play that good from start to finish.
And also during that game, you got to look at what was happening on the sideline. You had Kellen Moore literally
Yeah,
not playing people
Tony
because
Pollard.
he didn't play Tony Pollard because Tony Pollard missed practice.
And going into the third quarter of that game, CD had no catches.
He didn't even target CD at all. So you got you if it ain't one thing, it's another. Like I said, and
Yeah.
when all of that was going good, it could have been fixed. The defense just let Green Bay just do whatever they wanted to do, and that was
Yeah,
Dan Quinn.
The Green Bay game, it was just you can just really just scratch that one off. Now the first two 49er playoff losses, both games were very competitive. The first one we absolutely could have won it. We got the ball back. We could have went down the field and scored. That's the game when we got down at the end and we couldn't get the ball snapped because the referee moved the ball, put it in the wrong spot also. But
Yeah, but
and that was
but then
yeah.
and also on that game right there, I mean, you in a position to where that game, I don't care if you would have did a Hail Mary. I mean, come on now, you got 1 second left and you got to score.
Yeah.
You got 40
Well,
yards to go.
and remember a couple of plays earlier, Cedric Wilson was open, but Dak didn't have enough time and he couldn't really get the ball. He was kind of at a funny angle the way he had to throw the ball. But if he had had a little bit more time, it's a
Hmm.
touchdown. But
And
Cedric Wilson
also,
had to stop and turn
mhm,
around.
also there was a situation where Cedric Wilson, I think it was either that game going into halftime or the Boombox game going into halftime. Cedric Wilson catches a touchdown if the sun is not in his eyes.
Yeah, I remember that. I
So
remember
it's
that. But yeah, but we just got to build a team around Dak so that when we take the field and look, if we draft Quinshawn Junkins, Travion Henderson,
mhm.
or Caleb Johnson, and we turn around, if we get Ted or we get Ibuka, and what's our next topic?
The next topic is one of the latest rumors on the Dallas Cowboys draft. But before we wrap that up, I want to say this: when I think about the game, when I think about the Super Bowl that the Rams won, I don't think about Matthew Stafford winning that game. I think that what's
Yeah,
his name won that game, the defensive lineman. When I
you
think
got to
about
remember that team you're talking about, that Rams team, they won the Super Bowl. So
Mhm,
two things: they played Cincinnati. We would have beat Cincinnati. Number one. Number two, if we had beat the 49ers in that game we're talking about, I
mhm,
think we would have went to the Super Bowl and we would have beat. So that Rams team
mhm.
that year, they were not better than Dallas.
I'll put it like this: the Cowboys situation is the second game. The first time, the first time that we beat the second team, then the first time that we go that we play a game and we win the first game and we win the second game, we're gonna win the Super Bowl that year. The first time that we beat the second game, the momentum that we gonna get off of beating the second game is gonna be too much for any other team to handle. It's gonna be too much when they win that second game. You can mark my words. It would be crazy if they don't. They're gonna for sure go to the NFC Championship if when they win that second game. But my bet is my thing is the stigma and it's so much chaos concerning that second game that's the hump. It's like
Mm.
Michael Jordan them when they played against the Pistons. They could not get past them. But once they got past them, one time it was a snowball effect. From that point on, nobody could stop
hmm
them at that point. So
Well,
that's how it's gonna be.
I've told you before in the '90s. What you just said right there, that team for the '90s Cowboys was the Eagles. We never could get past the Eagles, but once we got past the Eagles, that
Mhm.
team had Reggie White, Seth Joyner, all those great, Jerome Brown who got killed in a car wreck. We couldn't get past the Eagles. The Eagles were our Detroit Pistons. And then we beat them one time, and it was just down here from there.
B Bird said they got to build a team that doesn't rely on just Dak's arm to win. Yeah, that's exactly what we've been saying.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's what we've been saying in a nutshell, pretty much.
And
They got,
Bieber been around probably for a while, like me. That's what the Broncos did with
Mhm.
Elway.
Hmm. Yeah, and see, and also too, I want to say so we can go ahead and get on the draft part. When I think about the Chiefs, when I think about them, the last championship that they won last year, I believe, not last year, but the year before that.
They
I
beat the
don't think
Eagles, yeah.
I don't think about Patrick Mahomes winning that game. I think about their defensive line winning that game, and I think about Spagnuolo. I think about
Yeah.
how Mahomes was having a bad first half, but the defense that they have, they would just get the ball right back, and then
He threw 2 interceptions in the game, and they were a non-factor.
they were a non-factor when they needed their defense to step up, and that lineman that they got. I don't know. I think keep forgetting his name. Is it Deion Jones? No, I forgot his name. But he stepped up when they needed him to make a sack. He did. So it was just like,
Yeah,
nah.
they had a great defense. They had a great coach, and he actually called a good game in this last Super Bowl they won. He shut down Saquon, but
Yep.
they had a
But
bad offensively. The Chiefs, they couldn't dig out of the hole. So what's our next topic?
what are the latest Cowboys rumors? What are the latest rumors
Okay.
on the Dallas Cowboys draft?
So the latest rumor, we're hearing two things. In my opinion, one of them are, you know, kind of scary. The other one is it's not too bad, and I think I agree with some of the content creators. The one that we're hearing is that they like Shamar Stewart, who's the edge out of Texas A&M. Now, he's been, I think he's been a starter for a couple of years. He has 1.5 sacks, so he's a run stopper. So a lot of content creators, and I agree with like Henny Demore. Shout out to Henny. They're trying to figure out why are the Cowboy scouts down at Texas A&M talking about this player. Now, could it be a smoke screen? We hope so. But this is the type of thing that they can do, and they've done it before. But when you look at that, look at the player, obviously you're going to have Michael at edge. Then you got to work Sam in. You just drafted Marshawn Nealon. And we got to start talking about the Marshawn Nealon draft pick. And then you just brought in Dante Fowler. So if you drafted Shamar Stewart, he would be another player that we're going to have an entire draft. And the way they normally do this, they'll draft Shamar Stewart, but our second, third, and probably a fifth round pick, they'll be better players. And what they'll say about Shamar Stewart is, oh, let's give him 3 years to develop. You're not really in this league until you play 3 years. So again, here we go with them just taking a slam dunk pick and doing what they normally do. If he's the player that they're looking at, but I've watched Texas A&M, and I can't tell you. I watched them play. Who did they play? They really should have lost. I can't remember
Okay.
who it was. It came down to the end of the game. But anyway, I watched the entire game. I couldn't tell you who he is.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they can be talking about taking him as long as they're talking about taking him in the fourth or fifth round because he's ranked like 73.
No, Shamar Stewart, if you look at Tankathon, they got him in the first round.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong person. I'm looking at Shamar Turner.
Yeah, this is Shamar Stewart. If you look at Tankathon, he's in the first round. He's not at 12.
Let me go to him. And then B Bird said, what do we think about Desmond Watson? He's DT from Florida.
I heard Big B Bird talking about Desmond Watson on another show that I listened to, and not familiar with him. We got to look at him, B Bird. And what round is he going in?
I'm gonna look at him right now, and I'll be able to tell you. But this is Shamar Stewart right here, and so Shamar Stewart. I just, me personally, my thing is if you got Nealon and you got I mean, you have prime players at this position. You have Nealon, you have we just got what's his name from the Commanders. What was his
Dante
name?
Fowler, you got Sam, you got Micah. You really don't even have enough snaps for an edge.
Right, you don't even have enough spots. So it's just like I mean, whatever. I don't understand why they would be talking about him, and I don't know. Hopefully, it's just
so that's the name we gotta put a tick mark by. And then the other one that we're kind of hearing is Tyler Warren. So this is probably a scenario where you get wiped out,
Mhm.
And if Tyler Warren is there, there's some talk about the Cowboys taking him. I wouldn't hate the pick. Uh, if you had to just stand in there and take a player, obviously you can argue that if you're going to just stay there and take a player, you could take Ibuka or Golden. If you
Mhm.
look at Tankathon, the way the players are rated,
Mhm.
they got Tyler Warren rated higher. Uh, but you could go ahead and put Amarion Hampton there. You could put Ibuka there, Golden.
Yeah.
Uh, I think we said
Now.
before, and I said, if to me the draft is going to be easy for the Cowboys if Ted or Genty is not there. Genty's not going to be there. I'm hearing that the Carolina Panthers, their content creators and their fans really like Ted, and the
Mhm.
way the way the Panthers management is under fire. Um, they really blew that pick with the quarterback a couple of years ago. Uh, so I think if the Panthers fans they want Ted, the content creators like Ted, I think it's going to be kind of hard for Ted to get by Carolina.
Man, I mean, and they keep saying that he's falling. I mean, everybody got us picking Ted. I just don't think it's gonna be there. I don't think Ted's gonna be there. I don't think Genty gonna be there. And then in my
Well, Genty
situation,
is not going to be there.
right? And I think Shador gonna be there.
They're
But
not going to take Shador.
if he's there,
Um,
if he's there, you gotta take him. There's no question.
they're not going to take him. Um, I think
Let me see. What was
I,
well, hold on. What was okay? He said what was it Desmond Watson? I'm trying to find him on Tankathon.
Florida State. What does he
Yeah,
play?
defensive tackle.
See what round they got him going in. It's supposed to be some kind of search feature on Tankathon where you can search for players. Defensive end,
Defensive tackle.
defensive tackle.
He might not be on Tankathon. Let me see.
It only goes to the third round.
Right. Let me see. I had to find him on YouTube. And then, so who else was we looking at? Tyler Warren. What position Tyler Warren play?
Tyler Warner's a tight end from Penn State.
Oh, I'm tripping. Yeah. Yeah. Now, Tyler Warren. I would be okay with Tyler Warren. Taking him that high up. I would definitely be okay with Tyler Warren. To me, taking Tyler Warren that high up is who is he comparable to? For you.
I mean, I think he can be better than Dallas Goddard. You got to just look at some. I think he can be better than Witten. Um, I just think he just got all of the skills. He's bigger, he's faster, he's got great hands. You can actually, believe it or not, you can have him come out of the backfield. He's done it. I mean, he's just a great player. Um, he does everything.
Yeah.
He got run after the catch. I mean,
A lot of
you know,
people were
he's
saying, is he better? Some people was asking, was he better than my guy from Detroit? And my answer was yes.
Laporta.
Yeah, I was saying that he's better than Laporta, or he has the potential
He,
to be better than Laporta.
he has the potential to be that type of player. I would probably say Laporta. If you just lined them up and ran them, Laporta is probably faster, and you can just see that.
You think
But
so?
Tyler Warren,
I was
yeah,
gonna say Tyler
Laporta.
Warren is probably because Laporta ain't coming out the backfield. Tyler Warren can come out the
No,
backfield.
I think Tyler Warren is an all-around better player, but Laporta is nice now.
You know, the only thing that scares me about Tyler Warren is that we have a Tyler Warren on our team, I think, and we don't even use him properly.
Who?
Our fullback.
Well,
Uh,
that's a different position. Yeah, I don't think he's
no, but
comparable to Tyler Warren.
I do. I mean, what is who? Everything is just slipping my mind today. You know who I'm talking about, right? My guy that I always want him to get the ball.
Yeah, if you're asking me, the guy you're talking about, and his name escapes me at the moment too, he's comparable to Scatterboo, and a lot of people are saying that. So,
Mm.
but now Tyler Warren is 6'5". He's a pure tight end. That's not what Hunter Lipke is. Who you're talking
Hunter
about?
Lipke can catch just as good. He can
But yeah, he's not a
he
tight
can
end
move
though.
just as no, he's not. But I mean, you know when I'm saying that when I'm saying that what I'm saying is we'll get Tyler Warren and they'll be playing Tyler Warren like he's a blocking tight end.
No, I think if you draft Tyler Warren, Tyler Warren is going to be doing Tyler Warren things. He's going to be going downfield. He's a tight end. He's
Yeah.
not. He can
Well,
do some of the fullback stuff, but now he is a tight end.
well, I'm all for it, and I'm all for taking the tight end from LSU as well.
Yeah, but he would be like down later in the
He'd be in the
if you
second
got a
round probably,
yeah,
coasting Loveland. But yeah, Tyler Warren is that guy.
yeah, and that's so again, we're just saying if they take Tyler Warren, I'm not going to be upset at the pick.
Upset.
Now, if they
No.
now obviously I would prefer. I think Ibuka by the time we draft, I think Ibuka is moving up the board. He ran a.
Yeah.
Did you see his 40 yesterday?
What was it?
I think he ran like a 4.3 something.
Really?
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Well, hey, I'm
He's moving up the board.
Igbuka. To me, Ted is in his own league. But after that, Igbuka, Luther, and I guess you could say Golden, they all right there neck and neck. But the problem that we gonna have is that if we don't get one of them first, they gonna be gone by the time we pick.
Yeah, you got to draft him in the first round.
Yeah, you got to get them in the first round. If you don't get Ted in the first round, if Ted is gone in the first round and you don't get Igbuka or you don't get Luther, or you don't get Golden, then that's just that on that. So you won't be able to get them. By the time you pick in the second round, they gonna all be gone.
Yeah,
And
if you don't get him in the first, you're talking about Trey Harris, Jaden Higgins.
the gap between Warren and Ferg is less than number 2 wide receiver, and it's less than our number 2 wide receiver and Ted. Yeah, I agree with that. Now, one thing I will say, B Bird, is I Quinton Judkins in a second. That's too high for him. I wouldn't pick Quinton Judkins in the second because if he said
He's going in the second though.
Igbuka ran a 4.48. B Bird put that in there. So, but Quinton Judkins, my thing is though, if he's going in the second, which he is, the Cowboys, if the Cowboys are not drafting a running back in the first round, then we have to draft the best running back in the second round. And I don't think I don't think when we draft in the second round that the best running back is going to be Quinton Judkins.
Well, we got to do our mock draft, but really, it's kind of like Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper. When you get in the second round, to me, Travion Henderson, Quinton Judkins, Caleb Johnson, their tags are touching. They're all like right there together. I mean, do you remember watching Judkins? I mean, you liked him better than Henderson.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, so if you take Judkins at 44, you're cooking. If you take either one of them running backs at 44, I don't think you can miss.
No, I would like. I want. In my opinion, it goes. Of course, it goes. Yeah, it is just preference. And what's your preference? My preference is speed. I guess I would say. So, like I think that it goes. Of course, Gen2 is number 1, but I think it's Caleb Johnson after that. Then Omarion Hampton, then Quinton Judkins and Travion Henderson. That's how I think.
Yeah, and Hampton might go in the first round.
Yeah, he might go in the first round. Now, would you be opposed to picking him in the first round?
I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, even though that's a reach for sure.
It is. We got to talk about the trade down scenario too. The other thing I was going to say, and I mentioned it before, if Ted is not there at 12, I'm absolutely okay with trading down and getting extra picks. So I think, like I said, if Ted is not there, the draft becomes easy for Dallas. You can try to trade down again. People talk about trading. You got to have somebody to trade with. You can't just say, oh, I want to trade down. You got to have somebody that want to trade, that allow you to trade down. But I love trading down, picking up extra picks. And then if you trade down and you pick Hampton, that's terrific. Actually, if you trade down and get Ibuka, that would be terrific. So, but what could happen is you could get to 12, Ted's not there, and your phone doesn't ring. Nobody wants to trade down with you, and you got to stick up and stay there and take a player. And if you stay there and take Tyler Warren, if you take Ibuka, if you take Hampton, I'm not going to be complaining.
I don't care if you take Luther Burden either.
That's high for Burden.
But I mean, you like as you said, Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper.
Well, that's for the. I was saying the running backs in the second round.
So you think that so you think that it's that much of a difference between Luther Burden, Egbuka, and Golden?
I'm just looking at the board. They don't have, and this is pretty common from what I'm hearing. They don't have Luther Burden ranked that high.
Well, I agree. I would just I'm gonna throw him in there. I'm gonna throw him in there. If I don't if I'm walked out, if I'm kind of like wiped out, and I
Yeah.
got to pick between Luther Burden, I got to pick out between Luther Burden, Golden, and Egbuka. I'm not tripping with either
And
one
this
of them.
and there's some content creators. If we took Burden at 12, I mean they wouldn't be, they would be good. But I'm just saying I just think it's a little high for him myself.
I agree. And, but this is the type of draft that you might have to pick high, but you're gonna get a solidified star. Because if you pick
Hmm.
Omarion Hampton high, ain't nobody gonna be tripping on that. But that's picking high for
No,
him. You want
it
to
is.
you want to be able to trade back and do that. But if you have to stick there and pick, and your pick is Omarion Hampton or Luther Burden, you're okay. Your draft doesn't go from an A to an F, because you did that. So we doing mock draft. We talking about mock draft, so we might as well just go ahead and do our mock drafts. And everybody that's watching, especially you, B Bird, what I try to do the draft to where I can pick who you would want me to pick or who you would want to pick just besides me and my dad, but it be going so fast that I don't have time. By the time that I tell you who's available, and by the time you put it in the chat who to pick, I don't already pick somebody. So I'm gonna try to do the same thing right now. I'm gonna try to keep the chat involved. I'm gonna try. But okay, so I'm gonna do 5 rounds, and I'm gonna enter the draft. I'm gonna put it on the screen so everybody can see it. And then we're gonna go. So we're gonna do one mock. What we should start doing our mocks is, if we can't trade back, we should just trade back in the second round, right? We should just not trade back at all, just trade back in the second round, right?
Yeah, that's probably the way it's gonna go.
All right, so let me see. Let me make sure. Cool. So can you see the screen?
Let me get up. Or you can just do it to where you don't do any trade downs at all, and then we do one where we do trade down. It's you can. But what are you started with?
I'm gonna start with where man, I'm gonna start with where we trade down,
Okay.
because on this one right here, we got 2 good trade scenarios. They want us to trade back from 12 and pick at 22 and 55 and receive a 2026 LA Charger 4th. And then they want us to trade on the second one. They want us to trade back to 18 and pick up pick 50, but we give them pick 149.
I like that.
Yeah.
I would go with that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with that. And just so everybody know, Ted and Genty are gone anyway. So I'm gonna accept that. Now I'm gonna pick here. And my philosophy is, the reason why I want to trade back, y'all, because I want to pick up an extra 3rd or extra 2 so I can get Jalen Milroe. That's what I want to do. And I think that Jalen Milroe is just a younger, better Dak. That's what I think. You can make the comparison between them. When Dak played at Mississippi State, he was that kind of Jalen Milroe type of player where he really was a threat with his legs.
Ask B Bird, what do you think about Milroe?
Yeah, what do you think about Milroe, B Bird? And so Dak at Mississippi State, he was like a threat with his legs, and he really wasn't like a gunslinger or anything. He just was, he would throw the ball up. You don't know where the ball gonna go, but he was just a gamer. He just would, he was just a gamer. He just played hard, and he just ran all over the field, and that's how Milroe is. Milroe is kind of like You know, he needs to work on his accuracy and his ball throwing skills, I think. But he's like a running back with the ball. So let's see. Right now, what we have is Jalen Walker is the highest rated player. Uh, Colston Loveland is next. Derek Harmon is next. The defensive tackle
This is our
from
first pick.
this is our first pick at 18.
So go to the receivers.
The receivers, the first one is Egbuka. The second one is Luther Burden.
Go to the running backs.
Omarion Hampton, Trevion Henderson, Caleb Johnson.
I think you're gonna take a Booker here.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, they Jade Barron is out there. I can see the Cowboys taking Jade Barron over Igbuka. But yeah, on my mock draft, on our mock draft, we're taking Igbuka right here. It's really not even a question. Now we picked up an additional pick, which is pick number 50. So on this scenario, I'm trying to get Milroe or Omarion Hampton or one of the running backs, and then Milroe. That's what I'm trying to do. So they want us to trade back and pick up a couple pieces, but we can just reject it. I don't think that would be realistic at this point since we already did it with our first one. So right here, I'm gonna just go to the running backs. Omarion Hampton is still available. Mason Taylor, the tight end from LSU, is available. Jalen Milroe is at 45.
So who's the highest rated player?
Omarion Hampton.
You gotta take him.
Right. So I already told y'all what I'm trying to do right here. What I'm trying to do right here is I'm trying to take Milroe, and he's there, and he's the fourth highest rated player.
So who's the highest rated?
Donovan Jackson is a guard from Ohio State.
Who's next?
Who's next is Irsay, and Mason Taylor is the tight end from LSU.
Okay, so you're gonna take Milroe?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Milroe.
Now, what's our next pick?
Our next pick is pick 76.
And they want to trade. What is that?
They want us to trade back and pick up number 83 and pick up 123.
So 123. What round is that?
3, 6, 9, 12. So that'll be the end of the fourth, the beginning of the fifth.
I think you got to make this trade because you use one of your twos on your quarterback. So I would take this.
Okay.
We got to pick up an extra player. So you got Ibuka, Hampton, Jalen Milroe. So now we're in the what round?
Now we in third round, pick 83.
Who you got? Who's the highest rated?
Highest rated is Jaden Higgins. You got a center, Jarrett Wilson. Kyle Kennard, edge from South Carolina. Barrett Carter, linebacker. Shamar Turner, Omar Norman Lott. They like Omar Norman Lott. That's probably who they would take.
What does he play?
Defensive tackle from Tennessee.
I've heard a lot about Kennard. I also know that people like Shamar Turner, not Shamar Stewart. So who you got a defensive lineman? You taking the edge? I would take defensive line. Who they got?
Yeah, I would take Omar Norman Lott or Shamar Turner. Shamar Turner is who I would take. One from A&M.
Who's rated the highest?
Omar Norman Lott.
Okay, I mean you can. They rated what and what?
82 and 84.
82 and 84?
Yeah.
Okay, well yeah, just take your guy then. So Shamar Turner.
Take Shamar Turner. And let's see. All right, so now I can I'm gonna reject this trade, and then right now they got, let's see, so we had
is this?
The fourth, and so far we have Egbuka, Omarion Hampton, Jalen Milroe, Shamar Turner, and we're in the fourth round.
We picked up a fourth.
Yeah, we did.
So who you got left?
Let's see. We got Egbuka, Omarion Hampton.
No, I'm talking about on the rankings.
We got Will Howard, is Ohio State quarterback. We got CJ West. We got Ty Felton, Maryland wide receiver. We got Jalen Reed, who was a safety from Penn State, and Quinn Ewers, Howard Cross, Ollie Gordon, Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips is a good player from Maryland. He's a defensive tackle. I want to see about my boy. Where is let me see, is Prather is out here, but that's way later.
I would take Ollie Gordon right here.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna look at. But I want to know if my guy from Virginia is on here.
Tootin.
Yeah, he already gone.
I would take Ollie Gordon.
Or wait for Jaden Blue.
Is Jaden Blue gone?
Nah, he way down there though. Yeah, you probably can take Ollie Gordon right here. I don't see anybody on defense that I just have to have. Jordan Phillips, you got Danny Stutzman, the linebacker from Oklahoma.
Ooh, that'd be nice. So Danny Stutzman is ranked what? What is Ollie Gordon rated to Stutzman?
Danny Stutzman is rated 135. Ollie Gordon is rated 128.
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys might take Stutzman just because they know they need, but
okay, yeah, let's take Stutzman. That's fine.
Then you can probably, did we just go to 4 rounds?
We went to 5, so
you can probably get a running back right here if you want to get one.
that's why I was
Just-
saying we probably could
just
wait
so
for
who's
Jaden
left.
Blue. Yeah, but Ollie Gordon is still there, so we gotta take
Ooh,
him.
man, yeah.
All right, so we take Ollie Gordon, and I think that's it. Oh no, we 174. So let's see, Caden Prather is there.
Prather is a receiver. Yeah, who else they got?
Let's see. I don't really see Riley Mills.
Who's got the rate? Who's the highest rated player?
Riley Mills from Notre Dame,
What does he play?
defensive tackle. And then you got Jack Kisser. I've been hearing about that. Kaiser, linebacker from Notre Dame. And then I don't really see anybody.
I'll probably take Prather.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't really see anybody that I just have to have. Jaquez Hunter, Todd Brooks. Yeah, I'm gonna take Caden Prather. All right, and so that completes our draft. Let's see.
So who we got?
We got Egbuka, Omarion Hampton, Jalen Milroe, Shamar Turner, Danny Stutzman, Ollie Gordon, and Caden Prather. This draft right here, you just drafted for 4 or 5 years in the future. Your team gonna be good just off of these players for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and they're gonna be good this year.
Yeah, they're gonna be great this year. You got like 5. You got one. Egbuka gonna start. Hampton gonna start. Turner gonna be in rotation. Stutzman's gonna start. Prather gonna be your third receiver.
I don't know about Stutzman starting, but he'll be somebody that can play. Who was your? Then you got your backup quarterback. You think your backup quarterback for the future?
Yeah.
But so let's do our last draft, and then we'll bounce off. We've been on 58 minutes, and this time let's do no trades, which is probably how it's gonna go.
Okay.
Your guy, he's gonna go to the Raiders.
Man, and so if they get Genty and they got him, it's just not gonna be fair.
Cowboys not gonna draft him.
It's just not gonna be fair. Let's see. Let's do 4 rounds. No trade.
Oh, and then I was gonna tell you before I forget. The Steelers like Milroe too. They might take him in the first.
I mean, it would be smart to do that. I can see them doing that. I mean, this is something that the Cowboys don't do. You know how we can just sit back and say he's a good player. A lot of people like him. He needs some stuff to work on, but somebody gonna go get him, and he gonna turn out to be good. All right, so I got no trades, no nothing, and Ted went to the 49ers, and I think that's gonna happen in real life. I just want to say that. I think that Ashton Genty is gonna go to the Bears, and I think that, or the Bears or the Raiders, and I think that Tet is gonna go to the 49ers. That's what I think is gonna
Possible.
happen. Yeah, I think he's gonna go to the 49ers. On this draft, they got Shador going to New Orleans.
That'll be a good pick for them.
And they definitely would make that pick. He'll fit right
Yeah,
in.
I've been hearing the 49ers like that corner. They also like a couple of the edge players, so we'll see.
I think Tet gonna go to San Francisco.
So who's our top rated player over here on who's the top rated receiver that's left?
Oh, I'm about to say because the top rated player is who the Cowboys would take.
Who?
It's Shamar Stewart. So
Wow.
yeah, so the top rated receiver is Golden, and then you got Ibuka. Cowboys ain't doing that.
So just go back to the overall ranking. So they got Shamar Stewart and who's up under him?
Tyler Warren. They would pick Stewart. Look, you got Kelvin Banks Jr. after that. They would pick Stewart or Kelvin Banks for sure. They wouldn't even look at Tyler Warren. They wouldn't even look at Jalen Walker or Mc.
Where they got Ibuka? Ibuka is rated way down there on this thing.
Yeah, Ibuka is rated number 27.
I'm not taking Shamar Stewart, so we'll just take Tyler Warren. I mean, let's.
Yeah. Or Kelvin Banks Jr. You can take Kelvin Banks Jr. That'll be a hit.
I would take Tyler Warren.
All right, Tyler Warren it is. And if they take Kelvin Banks, that's a hit. I'm not against that at all.
You have to play guard, yeah.
Yeah, and he'll be solid. Now 44, Tyleek Williams is the highest ranked player, and then Mason Taylor is 44. Carson Schwetzinger. We got to look at the wide receivers.
We got a receiver. We'll look at the running backs.
Caleb Johnson, he ranked 55, and you picking 44.
Who's the highest rated receiver?
Oh man, that's ugly. Jalen Noel, and then Jalen Royals. Man, you didn't get no receiver in this one.
They probably would take Tyleek Williams here. You the highest rated?
Yeah, you gotta take it.
Yeah, you take.
But you just left Dak out to dry. Well,
And
no,
then,
you didn't. You got Tyler Warren.
Let's see if we can hit a receiver here. Let's just see who's left.
Nah. Well, Tez is there, and Savion is there.
This is gonna be the thing, and now you like Tez. They got the receiver coach for the Cowboys there. What I like about Tez, he's different from anybody that we have. What I don't like about the Cowboys receivers, Jalen Tolbert, Brooks, Flournoy, Mingo, they're really all the same type of player. Tez is giving you something different.
Now Makuba is there, and that's who I would take.
The safety,
Yeah,
they like Makuba.
I like him too. He can play slot and he can play safety.
So is he the highest rated player?
No, but he's hard. He's rated higher than anybody that we just talked about. He's rated higher than Tez, and Harold Fannin is here, but we got Tyler Warren. So
They probably they will probably take Makuba.
Yeah.
So this will be a good draft.
Yeah.
I mean it's worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to the fifth here. Let's see.
No,
Let's see.
the fourth. That's it.
Oh yeah, we ain't got a fourth.
Right. So you got Tyler Warren, Tyleek Williams, and Makuba.
That would be a good draft.
Yeah, 3 starters. Tyler Warren is a playmaker. Tyleek Williams, he's gonna help you tremendously in your run game. And Makuba, Tyleek Williams gonna take will take Mozzie's spot. Makuba will take they will play him in slot.
Yeah, this will be like one of your worst case, and I think this is a more realistic scenario. Mm-hmm. It's probably you're getting washed out. You cannot trade. I think this is realistic. It's not going to be the greatest thing, but what you're doing right here, you're not reaching.
No,
You're taking good players.
you letting the board fall to you and you picking who you supposed to.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everybody. We're gonna wrap up. We've been on for over an hour. So shout out to you, B Bird. Shout out to everybody else that was watching and tuned in tonight. And y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And we know it's about to get ramped up. And the draft is about to come. So we're gonna see a lot of changes from us. We're gonna start putting a lot of different kind of content out. And it's gonna be our first season doing this in season. So this is gonna be our basically like our jump off here. This is gonna be like our, it's gonna be a big deal for us. It's gonna be the first year that we're doing it in season, and
we got a couple of things that you producing and trying to put together. It's gonna be really nice.
Yeah, I got some stuff I'm producing and that I'm executive producing, and it's gonna be real nice. It's gonna be, if you're a Cowboy fan, you're gonna want to stay tuned, and if you're a Cowboy fan and you like content creators, we're gonna have a lot of stuff going on, and we're gonna be hooking up with other content creators as well, and some of the people that just hop on, like B Bird said he thought I was posting the link for everybody to join, so I'm gonna have to do a show like that to where someone like B Bird can hop on with us.
And we're gonna just do a show with B Bird anyway, so we're gonna tell him we're gonna reach out.
Yeah, B Bird,
do something with him.
Do B Bird have your info? I'm gonna put my email in the chat.
Yeah, we communicate all the time, so
okay.
I'll reach out to him.
Yeah,
and we'll get him on, and he's somebody that I've just been following for a long time. He one of the OGs like me.
Yeah,
and I don't know if B Bird lives in Dallas.
I don't know.
We have to ask him.
So we'll figure it out. So y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and then B Bird, we looking for that. We gonna reach out to you so we can get together and do something on this podcast thing. So I want to go to the training camp too when it's out there in Frisco. I want to go out there and I want to live stream from out there. So I want to see what that's about and connect with some people out there, get us some followers and whatnot. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday night. Be safe, and finna go watch some March Madness. And
Texas Tech lost. They blew it.
Yeah, they blew it. They, that was tough. I'm like I said, my basketball heart is just, I've been really hurt. After what happened with the Mavericks, I've been really kind of just hurt. I really been hurt. And Uncle Keith said, "What's up?" He just got on, I think. So
tell him what's up.
Rewind it back and check us out, because we finna get off.
And then you're gonna post the link so people can rewatch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna post the link so people can rewatch it, and I'm also gonna break it down segment by segment. So y'all check it out, and we'll see y'all. Y'all have a safe Saturday night. Peace.